Bonjour!
Oh, dang it. The creme brulee's on fire again.
Julia Child has nothing on me. Oh, dang it. It's a glove and not that.
Look at it. It just came out phenomenal.
Now that looks scrumptious. That just looks absolutely scrumptious.
Julie and Julia is written by Julia Powell, a 1995 Amherst College graduate. Amherst College is not too far around us Western Mass natives. This book is said to be irresistible, a kind of Bridget Jones meets the French chef, by the Philadelphia Inquirer. It's also a national bestseller. But that's not all that's said about this book. It's said to be laugh out loud funny. I don't know how you can not laugh out loud, but that's what Clea Simon by Boston Globe says. And, people weren't shy about talking about this book. They also said it's a really good book by Lauren F. Winner, Washington Post Book World. So let's get down to this ourselves. Julie Powell, a Texas native living with her husband in Queens at 30 years old, finds her life becoming lethargic. Even though she works for a government agency, she doesn't see her life going anywhere special. However, while visiting her family in Texas, she finds her mother's copy of Julia Child's 1961 classic, Mastering the Art of French Cooking. Julie takes on the challenge to spice up her life. She assigns herself to cook a Julia Child recipe every day for a year and blog about it. Julie talks about her life in Queens as a secretary and talks about Julia Child's life in Paris as a chef teaching American housewives how to cook French cuisine. Julie is very close with her husband Eric, her brother Heathcliff, and her mother. But some of these relationships take a rough patch, and Julie gets a different reaction from Julia about her blog than she was expecting. Even though Julia finds herself getting different outcomes than she was expecting, she shares her daily life struggles from cooking French cuisine, living in her cramped Queens apartment, to her love life and family problems. Throughout the difficulties she shares about her life, she always finds a sense of direction in her project, Julie and Julia, and shows the empowerment of being passionate about what you're going to do with your life and how it will reward you. Julie gives you a peek of her life in the most raw form, by sharing personal struggles she faces with the people she loves the most in her life. Julie is a hard worker that's passionate about her project that rewards her with meaning. She proves that you can only follow your passions if you don't fall apart from life's difficulties, but instead go on. Julie expresses her pressures of feeling useless and expected to be more by her loved ones. But Julie always bounces back. But enough of me just telling you this. Let me show you this through quotations in the text. When he heard the sofa's foot rock and bang against the wall of the entryway, he came to investigate and found my mother there, sobbing against the gray stain-resistant upholstery. He moved the couch to one side, and she was able to squeeze past it and up the stairs, where she promptly collapsed onto the formerly white chair she had bought when she was pregnant with me, to use as a nursing chair, which she had given me when I came up to New York. "Oh my God!" she moaned. "I'm never getting up again." Elaine asked Eric, "Is this place really that bad?" "Yes. I'm sorry I got your daughter into this." Elaine looked around through the splayed hands she rested on her face at the picture window with the broken jalousies, at the rotting floorboards in the kitchen, at the odd space at the other end of the long, open room, a sort of short tail of an L. She looked thoughtfully, and then she gave Eric a small but warm smile. "You didn't get my daughter into anything she wouldn't have gotten into herself. Besides, we'll make it work. Now the important question is, do you have any orange juice?" In the statement underlined in orange, investigate and found my mother there sobbing against the gray stain-resistant upholstery. He moved the couch to one side, and she was able to squeeze past it and up the stairs. This statement shows how she uses sensory imagery to show how her mother, Elaine, is crying about the condition of the apartment. A little melodramatic if you ask me, but hey, aren't we all? The statement underlined in pink. "Oh my God," she moaned. "I'm never getting up again." This diction shows how the tone starts out negative. The statement underlined in yellow. Elaine asked Eric, "Is this place really that bad?" "Yes. I'm sorry I got your daughter into this." This third line shows purpose to why her mother is crying and the effect it has on Eric. Eric must have forgot that the world revolves around Elaine. The line underlined in black, Elaine looked around through the splayed hands she had rested on her face at the picture window with the broken jalousies, at the rotting floorboards in the kitchen, at the odd space at the other end of the long open room, a sort of short tail of an L. This provides more sensory imagery and close detail in describing the scene of her mother. The statement underlined in blue, you didn't get my daughter into anything she wouldn't have gotten into herself. Besides, we'll make it work. Now the important question is, do you have any orange juice? As you can see, Elaine can really see the important things in life. As you can see, Julie is slammed with pressure by her annoying mother, who is always nagging and who is overly worried about her and somewhat holds Julie back with her anxiety about Julie's future. Julie's mother, Elaine, cries about how crammed the apartment is when she hasn't been working as hard as Julie and Eric just to live there. Are you okay, Mommy? I asked. No, honey, I'm not okay. Does your head hurt? Mom had sinus trouble. Her head often hurt. No, my heart hurts. This was new. Why does your heart hurt? Because your father is in love with another woman. My mom and I have always shared a gift for the cutting melodramatic statement. I was simply aware, even in the dreadful moment, that I had just backed her up on a hell of an alley-oop. Even as I began to sniffle in the back seat, somewhere deep I thought to memorize the lines. I knew the value of a good sob story. The whole thing was so exciting and dramatic that it wasn't until later that the knowledge of this other woman began to weigh on me. But once it did, it only got heavier and heavier. I started staring at women at the mall or on the street, wondering if one was her. The line, underlined in pink, "No, my heart hurts," is a metaphor, I'm pretty sure, because there isn't any heart conditions that is talked about in the book, but she is talking about her emotional state that makes her heart hurt, in case you were wondering. Another metaphor is used in, underlined in the orange, I had just backed her up on a hell of an alley-oop. Statement underlined in black, because your father is in love with another woman, indicates that her father cheated on her mother with another woman. The statement underlined in magenta, somewhere deep I thought to memorize the lines. I knew the value of a good sob story. Not only shows that Julie's kind of a messed up and dark child for wanting to memorize a sob story to use it to her advantage, but also shows how deeply it hurt for her to know that her father betrayed her mother. And she is going to remember these words because she wouldn't forget the pain her mother went through. The second statement, underlined in magenta, other woman began to weigh on me, but once it did, it only got heavier and heavier. Julie uses allusion and metaphor here, and it shows how she was affected by her father's affair and can't wrap her head around why he would choose any woman besides her mother. From both of these passages, you get examples of personal experiences Julie includes in her journey of following her passion to cook a Julia Child recipe a day and blog about it. Julie shares these experiences to show it doesn't matter where you're from, what you've gone through, as long as you don't waste your talent, you can achieve anything. I recommend this book to mom book clubs or women entering adulthood, because it's a very mature read, and it talks about the struggles of a woman entering her 30s. And if you are very interested in French cuisine, then I definitely recommend you read this book. It is a great read, everybody. Definitely changed my life. Love you, Julie.
I'm different, yeah, I'm different. Pull up